Part 1. Dr. Kim Tae-ho rubbed his tired eyes and stared at the computer screen. Numbers and graphs filled the monitor, all of them showing data from the alien probe that arrived on Earth 3 months ago. It was almost midnight and everyone else had gone home hours ago. But Tae-ho could not leave. Not when he was so close to understanding how the probe's communication system worked. The Seoul Institute of Extraterrestrial Biology was quiet at night. Too quiet. Tae-ho liked it this way. No meetings, no phone calls, just him and his research. He took a sip of cold coffee and made a face. It tasted terrible, but he needed to stay awake. Suddenly, red lights flashed throughout the lab. A loud alarm screamed through the building. Tae-ho jumped, spilling coffee on his notes. His phone buzzed with an emergency message from Park Min-ho, the security chief. Breach at the north wall. Something big. Evacuate now. Tae-ho looked at his computer screen, then at the door, then back at his screen. He had backed up his data this morning. It would be safe. But still he hesitated. What if this was just a drill? The wall exploded. Not the door. The actual concrete wall of his lab shattered like glass. Dust and debris filled the room. Tae-ho fell backward off his chair, hitting the floor hard. Through the dust he saw something moving. Something massive. It stepped through the hole in the wall. The creature stood at least 8 feet tall. It had 6 limbs, each one thick with muscle and ending in claws that looked sharp enough to cut through steel. Its body was covered in dark scales that seemed to absorb the light. But the most striking feature was the patterns on its skin. Glowing lines of blue and purple light pulsed like a heartbeat. The creature's head turned toward him. It had too many eyes, 4 of them, positioned around its skull in a way that meant it could probably see in all directions. Its mouth opened, revealing rows of crystal-like teeth. Tae-ho should have been terrified. Every instinct should have been screaming at him to run. But he was exhausted, covered in coffee, and frankly more annoyed than scared. Plus, his scientist brain had already kicked into gear. "Oh wow," he said, slowly getting to his feet. "Are you carbon-based? You look dehydrated. Do you need water?" The creature froze. Its glowing patterns flickered rapidly like it was confused. It tilted its head, studying Tae-ho with those too many eyes. Tae-ho grabbed his scanner from the desk. His hands shook a bit, but he managed to point it at the creature. "Fascinating, your bioluminescent patterns. Are those for communication? Or temperature regulation? And those teeth?" He moved closer, completely forgetting about the danger. "They look crystalline. I have never seen biological structures like that." The creature made a sound, something between a growl and a hiss. It lunged forward, claws extended. Tae-ho ducked, but only because he dropped his scanner and bent down to pick it up. The creature's claws whistled through the air where his head had been a second ago. "Sorry," Tae-ho said, standing up with the scanner. "I did not mean to startle you. You must be stressed. Travel through space is probably difficult." The lab door burst open. Park Min-ho rushed in with 6 security guards, all of them carrying weapons. They stopped when they saw the creature. "Dr. Kim, get away from that thing." Min-ho shouted. "It's fine," Tae-ho called back. "I think it is trying to communicate. Look at the light patterns. It just destroyed a wall. Maybe it does not know how to use doors." Tae-ho paused and reached into his desk drawer. He pulled out a protein bar. "Here, you have probably been traveling a long time. You must be hungry." He held out the protein bar toward the creature. Min-ho made a sound like someone had punched him in the stomach. The creature stared at the protein bar. Its glowing patterns pulsed faster. Then slowly it reached out one clawed hand and took the bar. It sniffed it, then looked at Tae-ho with what might have been confusion. "You peel the wrapper off first," Tae-ho explained, demonstrating with his hands. Dr. Choi Hana appeared behind the security team. She was the best linguist in the facility. She pushed past the guards, ignoring Min-ho's protests, and stared at the creature. "The light patterns," she whispered. "They are not random. Look, they repeat. It is a sequence." The creature suddenly moved. Fast, impossibly fast. 1 second it was standing still. The next it was lunging at Tae-ho, claws extended, mouth open wide. Time seemed to slow down. Tae-ho saw the claws coming toward his chest. He should have been dead, but something strange happened. The creature stopped, just stopped, frozen in mid-attack, its claws inches from Tae-ho's body. Its light patterns were going crazy now, flashing between colors so fast it was almost painful to watch. The creature made a sound, something like a whine, and backed away. It looked confused, maybe even distressed. Tae-ho's heart was finally catching up with the danger. It hammered in his chest. But he noticed something important. The creature was shaking, not with aggression but with something else. Fear, confusion. "Hey," he said softly, the way he used to talk to his dog when it was scared of thunderstorms. "It is okay, you are okay. Nobody is going to hurt you." The creature's light pattern slowed down. It looked at Taiho, and for a moment something passed between them. Understanding, maybe. Or at least the beginning of it. "We need to contain it," Minho said, his voice tight with stress. "Now." It took 2 hours to move the creature into Lab 7. The creature did not fight. It just watched Taiho the whole time, its light patterns pulsing slowly. They set up reinforced walls, motion sensors, and cameras. Minho wanted to add electrified barriers, but Taiho argued against it. "It is not a prisoner," Taiho insisted. "It is a guest. We need to treat it with respect." "It destroyed a wall and tried to kill you," Minho said flatly. "But it did not. That is the important part." Lee Yuna, the facility administrator, appeared with a tablet and a very tired expression. She had been woken up at home and was not happy about it. "So," she said, looking at the creature through the reinforced glass, "we are keeping it?" "Temporarily," Taiho said, "until we understand what it wants." "Fine. I will add alien creature to the facility insurance. What does it eat?" "We do not know yet. Perfect. I will order everything." Yuna made notes on her tablet. As the night turned into early morning, Taiho sat outside the containment area, refusing to go home. The creature sat inside, watching him through the glass. Its light patterns had settled into a slow, steady pulse. Hana joined him, carrying 2 cups of fresh coffee. "What do you think it wants?" she asked. Taiho watched the creature. It had not taken its eyes off him since they put it in the containment area. "I do not know," he admitted, "but I do not think it wants to hurt us. Not really. Something stopped it. Something inside it. Or something about you," Hana suggested. The creature tilted its head as if it understood they were talking about it. Its light patterns flickered once, twice, then settled back into that steady pulse. Far away, watching from the darkness between stars, the Galactic Council received a message from their weapon. The Vrixtal was alive. It had reached the target. But it had not killed. Something was wrong. Or maybe something was very, very right, depending on how you looked at it. 1 week had passed since the creature arrived. 1 week of careful observation, strange behaviors, and a growing sense that something very unusual was happening. Taiho visited the creature every day. Sometimes 3 or 4 times a day. He brought it food samples, showed it pictures, played music. The creature watched everything with intense focus. Its light patterns had become more complex, more deliberate. Hana said it was learning. Learning what? Nobody knew yet. The creature still had not eaten the livestock they provided. Fresh meat, vegetables, even processed foods. Nothing interested it. But it drank water eagerly when Taiho brought it. It seemed to prefer when Taiho specifically brought the water, which Minho found deeply concerning. "You realize it has bonded with you, right?" Minho said one afternoon. They were watching the creature through the observation window. "It is not supposed to bond with anything. It is supposed to be a weapon." "How do you know it is a weapon?" Taiho asked. "Because nothing that dangerous exists in nature." Minho crossed his arms. "That thing was made for something. And I do not think it was made for making friends. But it is making friends," Taiho pointed out. "With me. That is what worries me." That night, everything changed. A storm knocked out power to half the facility. The backup generators kicked in, but Lab 7 was on a separate circuit. For exactly 90 seconds, the containment area went dark. 90 seconds was all it needed. When the lights came back on, the creature was gone. The reinforced door hung open, torn off its hinges like paper. Alarms screamed through the building. Security teams mobilized. Everyone evacuated except the essential personnel. And Taiho, who had fallen asleep at his desk in Lab 3, he woke to silence. The alarms had stopped. That was strange. He lifted his head from his desk, papers stuck to his face, and blinked in confusion. Why was it so quiet? Then he saw it. The creature stood in his lab, massive and silent. Its light patterns pulsed slowly, casting blue and purple shadows on the walls. In one clawed hand it held something. Taiho's jacket. The one he had left in the containment area yesterday because it was too warm. Taiho's brain took a moment to process this. The creature had escaped. It could have gone anywhere, could have done anything. Instead, it came here. To return his jacket, you brought this back? Taiho asked slowly, standing up from his chair. His legs felt wobbly. For me? The creature's light patterns brightened. It took a step forward and held out the jacket. Its claws were gentle, careful not to tear the fabric. When Taiho took the jacket, the creature made a sound. A soft, rumbling purr. "Thank you," Taiho said, meaning it. "That was very kind." The creature tilted its head. Then it did something unexpected. It sat down. Just sat like a dog waiting for instructions. Taiho stared at it. An idea formed in his mind. A completely ridiculous idea. "Would you like a tour?" he asked. "Of the facility?" The creature's light patterns pulsed faster. Excited, maybe. Taiho decided to take that as a yes. What followed was perhaps the strangest hour of Taiho's life. He showed the creature everything. The break room where it discovered coffee and immediately hated the smell. The vending machine which fascinated it endlessly. The observation deck where it pressed its face against the glass and looked at the stars. The creature was curious about everything. It touched surfaces gently, learning textures. It listened to sounds, identifying patterns. When they passed a window showing the gardens outside, it stopped and stared for a long time. "Do you miss being outside?" Taiho asked. The creature looked at him. Its light patterns flickered in a way that seemed sad. Taiho made a decision. "Come on," he said, leading it toward a side exit. Just for a few minutes they emerged into the cool night air. The creature breathed deeply, its light patterns glowing brighter. It looked up at the sky, at the moon and stars. Then it looked at Taiho and its patterns became complex, layered, beautiful. Hana later said those patterns meant gratitude, joy, friendship. They ended up in the cafeteria. It was empty at this hour, which was good because Taiho did not want to explain why he was giving a tour to an escaped alien predator. The creature explored the space, sniffing at tables and chairs. It found a stress ball someone had left behind. The creature picked up the ball carefully. It squeezed it once and the ball made a soft squeak. The creature's light patterns exploded with color. It squeezed the ball again. Squeak. The creature looked at Taiho with what could only be described as delight. "You like that?" Taiho laughed. "Here, throw it to me." He gestured, trying to mime throwing. The creature understood immediately. It tossed the ball and Taiho caught it. Then Taiho threw it back. The creature caught it with surprising grace. They played fetch. For 20 minutes, a xenobiologist and an alien predator played fetch in an empty cafeteria, while the rest of the facility was on lockdown searching for the escaped creature. The door burst open. Minho stood there with his security team, weapons drawn. They stopped when they saw Taiho and the creature playing catch. Nobody moved. The creature held the stress ball, its light patterns uncertain. It looked at Taiho, then at the armed guards, then back at Taiho. "It is okay," Taiho said quickly. "They are friends. Friends." The creature's light patterns settled. It walked to Taiho and sat beside him, still holding the stress ball. Protective. Ready to defend if needed, but not aggressive. The message was clear. Taiho was pack. Taiho was family. Minho slowly lowered his weapon. He looked at Taiho with an expression that mixed disbelief with reluctant acceptance. "You are insane," he said. "Probably," Taiho agreed. Lee Yuna arrived an hour later. She looked at the creature, now back in its containment area voluntarily. She looked at Taiho, who was sitting outside the glass showing the creature pictures on his tablet. She looked at Minho, who just shrugged helplessly. "So," she said, "we are definitely keeping it." "It chose to come back," Taiho said. "That has to mean something. It means we need a bigger food budget." Yuna pulled out her tablet. "And it needs a name. We cannot keep calling it the creature. If it is staying, it is an employee. Employees need names." Taiho looked at the creature. It was curled up in a pile of pillows they had provided, the stress ball tucked under one massive paw. Its light patterns pulsed slowly, contentedly. "Mr. Fluffles," Taiho said. Minho made a choking sound. "What? Look at that face." Taiho pointed at the creature. "That is clearly a Mr. Fluffles. That thing tried to kill you a week ago and now it brought me my jacket." Character development, Yuna typed on her tablet. "Mr. Fluffles it is. I will add it to the payroll. What position should I list?" "Research subject," Taiho suggested. "Emotional support alien," Hana offered, appearing in the doorway. "Cafeteria security," Minho muttered darkly. Yuna made a note. "I will put consultant. That covers everything." She looked up at them. "You all realize this is completely insane, right?" Yes, they all agreed. Good. Just making sure we are all on the same page. Yuna walked away, already making calls about increasing the facility budget. Inside the containment area, Mr. Fluffles opened one eye. It looked at Taiho through the glass. Its light patterns pulsed once, bright and warm. Then it closed its eye and went back to sleep, the stress ball still tucked safely under its paw. Somewhere in deep space, the Galactic Council received another update. The Vrixtal had not completed its mission. The Vrixtal had been named Mr. Fluffles. The Vrixtal was playing fetch. The Council did not know how to process this information. Nothing in their entire history had prepared them for humans. They decided to send someone to investigate. Someone important, because if humans could do this to their most perfect weapon, the Council needed to understand how. And more importantly, they needed to stop it before it spread. 2 weeks after Mr. Fluffles arrived, the facility had settled into a strange new normal. The creature had become part of daily life. Researchers greeted it in the mornings. Security guards nodded to it in the halls. Someone from the cafeteria had knitted it a sweater. The sweater was red with white stripes. Mr. Fluffles wore it constantly. Taiho thought it looked ridiculous on an 8-foot tall predator with 6 limbs and glowing patterns. Mr. Fluffles thought it was the best thing that had ever happened to it. Then the ship arrived. It appeared in Earth's orbit without warning. One moment space was empty. The next, a massive vessel hung above the planet like a dark moon. Every space agency on Earth panicked. Every military went on high alert. This was it. First contact with an alien civilization. The ship sent a message. It wanted to speak with the Seoul Institute of Extraterrestrial Biology. Specifically, it wanted to speak with Dr. Kim Taiho about the Vrixtal. That is when everyone at the facility realized they had been hosting an alien weapon. Not just any weapon, the alien weapon. The Vrixtal. A creature specifically designed by the Galactic Council to eliminate threats. The ambassador arrived the next day. Ambassador Rixaval was tall and thin, with a body that looked like it was made of overlapping black plates. 4 arms, each one ending in delicate fingers. A head that was mostly eyes. It moved with precise, controlled grace. The ambassador entered the facility with a security detail of similar beings. They all looked efficient, professional, dangerous. Yuna met them at the entrance with her tablet and her professional smile. "Welcome to Earth," she said. "I have prepared a conference room. Would you like coffee?" The ambassador stared at her. "We are here about the Vrixtal. Your planet is in grave danger." "Yes, but would you like coffee first?" Taiho met the ambassador in the conference room. Mino stood behind him armed. Hana sat beside him with her translation equipment, even though the ambassador spoke perfect English. The alien delegation took their seats across the table. "Dr. Kim," the ambassador began, "you do not understand what you have done. I have been taking care of a lost creature," Taiho said. "Lost?" The ambassador's voice carried what might have been disbelief. "The Vrixtal is not lost. It is a weapon. The most efficient biological weapon ever created. It was sent here to eliminate you. To make an example, your species made contact with our probe without permission. The Council does not tolerate such presumption." The room went silent. Taiho felt cold. "You sent it to kill me? Not just you. Your entire research team. Your facility. The Vrixtal was meant to demonstrate that humans should not reach beyond their planet. That we are watching. That we control who joins the galactic community. But it did not kill anyone," Hana pointed out. "Exactly." The ambassador leaned forward. "That is why I am here. The Vrixtal has never failed a mission. Never. In 3,000 years of deployment, it has completed every task with perfect efficiency. Until now. Until you, the ambassador, pulled up a holographic display. It showed data streams, biological readings, complex information that hurt to look at. This is the Vrixtal status. See these readings? This is confusion. This is internal conflict. This is something we have never seen before. Affection. The creature has developed affection for you. Is that bad? Taiho asked. It is impossible. The ambassador's voice was sharp. The Vrixtal is programmed at a genetic level to hunt and kill. It cannot feel affection. It should not be capable of choosing not to complete its mission. Yet somehow you have corrupted it. I did not corrupt anything, Taiho said, feeling defensive. I was just kind to it. Kind. The word seemed foreign in the ambassador's mouth. You were kind to an apex predator sent to kill you. Yes. Why? Because it seemed scared, Taiho said simply, and confused. And I thought maybe it did not want to be a weapon. Maybe it wanted to be something else. The ambassador was quiet for a long moment. I need to see it. The creature. I need to verify its condition. They walked to the containment area. Mr. Fluffles was sleeping in its nest of pillows, the stress ball tucked under one paw, wearing the red and white sweater. When it heard them approaching, it lifted its head. Its light patterns brightened when it saw Taiho. Then it saw the ambassador. Every muscle in Mr. Fluffles tensed. Its light patterns turned sharp and dangerous. A low growl rumbled from its chest. It recognized the ambassador's species. It remembered what it was supposed to be. Easy, Taiho said, pressing his hand against the glass. It is okay. Mr. Fluffles looked at Taiho, then back at the ambassador. Its programming screamed at it to attack, to defend, to complete the mission it had failed. But Taiho's presence, Taiho's voice held it back. This is wrong, the ambassador whispered. This should not be possible. Maybe your programming is not as perfect as you thought, Minho suggested. The ambassador pulled out a device, small metallic covered in symbols. I can fix this. I can restore its programming, make it remember its purpose. No, Taiho said sharply. Dr. Kim, this creature is dangerous. It could kill everyone in this facility. It could have killed me 2 weeks ago. It chose not to. That choice matters. The ambassador looked at him for a long moment. Then, without warning, it activated the device. Mr. Fluffles screamed. Not a roar. A scream of pain. Its body convulsed. Its light patterns flashed wildly, every color at once. The creature collapsed, writhing on the floor. Stop it, Taiho shouted. You are hurting it. I am restoring it, the ambassador said calmly. In moments it will remember what it is. What it was meant to do. Taiho ran to the containment door. Minho grabbed his arm. Do not. If you go in there, I do not care. Taiho pulled free and entered the containment area. Mr. Fluffles was still convulsing, fighting against the commands being forced into its mind. Taiho knelt beside it, placing his hands on the creature's massive head. Hey, he said softly. Remember me? Remember the jacket? Remember the stress ball? Remember that you chose to come back? You do not have to be what they made you. You can choose. Mr. Fluffles' eyes focused on Taiho. Its light patterns flickered between the forced programming and something else. Something new. Taiho kept talking, kept reminding it of every small moment they had shared. The sweater, Taiho said. You love that sweater. You chose to wear it. You chose to stay. You chose friendship. Something broke inside Mr. Fluffles. Or maybe something finally formed. The creature's light patterns suddenly stabilized. Bright. Warm. Defiant. It pushed itself up, shaking off the programming like water. It looked at the ambassador and growled. Not a killing growl. A protective one. The ambassador stumbled backward. Impossible, it whispered. Nothing breaks that programming. Nothing. Mr. Fluffles stood beside Taiho, placing one massive paw in front of him. Protective. Its light patterns pulsed with absolute clarity. It had made its choice. Taiho was pack. Taiho was family. And nothing, not even its own programming, would change that. Hana had been recording everything. She looked at the data streaming across her equipment. The light patterns, she said quietly. I can read them now. Do you know what it is saying? What? Taiho asked. Mine friend home. Hana looked up with tears in her eyes. It is saying Taiho is its home. The ambassador left without another word. Its security detail followed. They looked shaken, confused. Everything they knew about the universe had just been challenged by a human and an alien predator wearing a sweater. As they departed, the ambassador paused at the door. This is not over, it said. The council will want answers. They will want to understand how you did this. I did not do anything special, Taiho said. I just treated it like it mattered. Like it was more than a weapon. That may be the most dangerous thing any human has ever said. The ambassador looked back at Mr. Fluffles one more time. If you can do this to the Vrixtal, what else might you do to the galaxy? Is that a threat? Minho asked, hand on his weapon. No. The ambassador's voice was quiet. It is a warning to myself, to the council. You humans are more dangerous than we thought, not because you are violent, but because you make friends with things that should want to kill you. And somehow you win. After they left, Tahoe sat with Mr. Fluffles for a long time. The creature had curled around him, light patterns calm and steady. Protective and protected, Yuna brought them both dinner. Hana brought a new stress ball since the old one had gotten lost in the chaos. This is just the beginning, Minho said. They will come back. Maybe with more than words next time. Let them come, Tahoe said quietly, scratching behind Mr. Fluffles' ear. We will show them what happens when you choose friendship over fear. Mr. Fluffles purred. Its light patterns pulsed in agreement. The galaxy had sent it to scare Earth, to warn humanity away from the stars. Instead, it had found something it never knew it wanted. A home, a friend, a choice. And somewhere in deep space, the Galactic Council was having a very difficult conversation about what to do when their perfect weapon chooses a sweater over destruction. 3 weeks after the ambassador's visit, the world had changed. News of Mr. Fluffles had leaked. Videos of the creature playing fetch went viral. Pictures of it wearing the sweater became memes. Children drew pictures of it. Adults made jokes about it. Humanity had collectively decided that the terrifying alien weapon was actually adorable. The facility received thousands of letters. People sent treats for Mr. Fluffles, hand-knitted sweaters in every color, toys. One person sent a giant stuffed bear. Mr. Fluffles loved the bear. It carried it everywhere, but while Earth celebrated, the Galactic Council was afraid. Ambassador Rixaval had filed a report that terrified them. Humans had done the impossible. They had turned a weapon into a pet. If they could do that to the Vrixtal, what would they do to other species? To the carefully maintained power structure of the galaxy, the Council's hardline faction made a decision. They would send another weapon. But this time they would send something that could not be corrupted. Something with no emotions to manipulate, no biological weaknesses to exploit. They sent the Null Dar. The Null was pure machine. No flesh, no blood, no capacity for affection or fear. It was programmed with a single directive: eliminate the compromised Vrixtal and its human handler. Then leave. Simple, clean, efficient. It arrived on a Tuesday. Tahoe was in the garden with Mr. Fluffles, teaching it about plants. The creature was fascinated by flowers. It would crouch down all 8 feet of terrifying predator and gently touch petals with one claw. Its light patterns turned soft and wondering when it discovered roses. The alarm started screaming. Mr. Fluffles' head snapped up, light patterns flashing red. Danger. It moved in front of Tahoe immediately, body low and ready. What is it? Tahoe asked. Mr. Fluffles growled. Not a playful sound. A real threat warning. Something was coming. Something bad. The Null crashed through the facility's north wall. Again. Tahoe was starting to think they should just install a door there. The machine was 7 feet tall. Humanoid in shape, but clearly artificial. Silver metal, glowing orange joints, no face. Just a smooth surface where a head should be. It moved with mechanical precision. Every step calculated. Every movement efficient. It raised one arm and Tahoe saw weapons built into the metal. Weapons that were currently pointed at Mr. Fluffles. Target identified, the Null said in a flat, emotionless voice. Compromised Vrixtal unit, secondary target human handler. Beginning elimination protocol, Mr. Fluffles roared. It was a sound Tahoe had never heard before. Pure challenge, pure fury. The creature launched itself at the Null, moving faster than Tahoe could track. The two collided with a sound like thunder. Minho arrived with his security team seconds later. He grabbed Tahoe, pulling him toward safety. The doctor struggled. I cannot leave it. You will just get in the way. Minho dragged him behind cover. Let your creature fight. That is what it does best. But it was not built to fight machines, Tahoe said desperately. Look, Mr. Fluffles was strong. Incredibly strong. Its claws could tear through steel. Its teeth could crack starship hulls. But the Null was made specifically to counter the Vrixtal. Every move Mr. Fluffles made, the Null had a counter. Every attack was blocked. Every strike was absorbed. And worse, the Null's weapons were working. Energy blasts scorched Mr. Fluffles' scales. Blades cut through its hide. The creature was tough, its healing factor incredible, but even it had limits. Hana ran up to them, tablet in hand. I can hack it. She was breathing hard. The Null is mechanical. It has to have a network interface. If I can access it, do it, Minho ordered. Mr. Fluffles was slowing down. Tahoe could see it. The creature was exhausted, wounded, but it would not stop fighting. It would not run. Because Taiho was here. Because this was home. And Mr. Fluffles would die before it let anything hurt its home. I am in, Hana shouted. She was working frantically on her tablet, fingers flying across the screen. But I cannot shut it down. The programming is too complex, too hardened against intrusion. Then what can you do? Minho demanded. I can add something. Hana looked up, eyes wide with a crazy idea. Remember how we mapped Mr. Fluffles' neural patterns? When we were studying how it changed, I can upload those patterns into the null. Give it emotions. Make it feel. That is insane, Minho said. Do you have a better idea? Minho looked at the battle. Mr. Fluffles was bleeding now, light patterns flickering weakly. The null was advancing, weapons charging for a final strike. No, he said. Do it. Hana uploaded the data. For a moment, nothing happened. The null raised its arm, preparing to kill Mr. Fluffles, then it froze. Its entire body locked up. The orange lights in its joints flickered, turning blue, then green, then a dozen colors. Error, the null said. New protocols detected, analyzing. Its voice had changed. Less flat, more confused. Emotional subroutines activating. This is not in my programming. Mr. Fluffles collapsed, breathing hard. It looked up at the null, ready to fight to the last breath if needed. The null stared back, or would have stared if it had eyes. Target is injured, the null said slowly. Target is defending its companion. Target displays loyalty. The machine tilted its head. Query: why would a weapon choose to die for an inferior being? Because it is not a weapon anymore, Taiho said, stepping out from cover. Minho tried to grab him, but Taiho pulled free. It is a friend. And friends protect each other, friend, the null repeated. Analyzing concept, processing emotional data. The machine looked at its own hands. I was built to kill. That is my only function. But these new protocols suggest alternative purposes. Connection, companionship, value beyond destruction. The null ran millions of calculations in seconds. It analyzed every possible outcome. Every scenario. And in every simulation where it completed its mission and killed the Vrixtal and the human, the result was empty, meaningless, just another eliminated target. But in simulations where it chose not to kill, where it chose connection, the results were different. Complex, interesting. The machine could not quantify why, but the emotional subroutines insisted that friendship had value, that loyalty meant something. Conclusion, the null said. Mission parameters are flawed. Alternative action selected. The machine lowered its weapons. I will not kill the Vrixtal. I will not kill the human. New directive. Understand the concept of friendship. The orange lights in the null's joints turned warm blue. It looked at Mr. Fluffles. Query: are you functional? Mr. Fluffles growled weakly, light patterns uncertain. It did not trust the machine. Could not trust it. But Taiho was walking toward them both, and that meant it was okay. Maybe. Taiho knelt beside Mr. Fluffles, checking its wounds. You fought so well, he said softly, so brave. Let us get you to medical. The null watched this interaction, processing, learning. Observation: the human expresses concern for the injured creature. Conclusion: this is affection. This is what makes a friend. Can you help me carry it? Taiho asked the null. It is too heavy for me alone. The machine hesitated. Then it bent down, carefully lifting Mr. Fluffles with surprising gentleness. The creature growled again, but did not resist. Maybe it was too tired, or maybe somehow it understood that the null had changed. They carried Mr. Fluffles to the medical bay. The creature's wounds were serious but not fatal. Its regeneration had already started working. Within days it would be fully healed. The null stayed the entire time, watching the medical team work, learning what care looked like. When Mr. Fluffles finally fell asleep, exhausted from fighting and healing, the null approached Taiho. Query: the creature is called Mr. Fluffles. Yes, Taiho said. Query: why that designation? The entity is a biological weapon, not fluffy. Because names are about how we feel about someone, not what they are, Taiho explained. And when I look at it, I see something worth caring about. Something fluffy. The null processed this. Query: do I require a name? Would you like one? I do not know. I've only had emotional capacity for 37 minutes. I am still learning what I want. Take your time, Taiho smiled. Names are important. You will know when you find the right one. Yuna appeared in the doorway. She looked at the sleeping alien predator, the damaged robot and the exhausted scientist. Her expression was perfectly calm. "So," she said, "we are keeping this one too?" "If it wants to stay," Tejo said. The null turned to face her. Query: "What does staying involve?" "Paperwork mostly," Yuna said, already pulling out her tablet. "Also, you broke a wall. That is coming out of your department budget, Dr. Kim." That night, Mr. Fluffles woke up to find the null sitting beside its medical bed. The machine had not moved in hours, just watching. Guarding. Mr. Fluffles's light patterns flickered with confusion. Query: The null said quietly, "Does the pain subside?" Mr. Fluffles's light patterns pulsed once. "Yes. Good." The null's lights dimmed slightly, like it was relieved. "I apologize for causing damage. I was following incorrect programming. I have since updated my directives." Mr. Fluffles stared at the machine. Then slowly it extended one paw. Not a threat. An offering. The null looked at the paw. Analyzed it, understood. The machine reached out and gently touched Mr. Fluffles's paw. First contact. First friendship. The beginning of something new. In deep space, the Galactic Council received yet another impossible report. The null had failed. Not because it was destroyed, but because it had chosen not to complete its mission. Because it had chosen friendship, two of their perfect weapons neutralized by kindness. The Council began to realize that humanity was not dangerous because of violence or technology. 1 month after the null arrived, the Galactic Council sent a formal invitation. They wanted Earth to send representatives to their station. They wanted to talk. Specifically, they wanted to talk about how humans kept breaking their weapons. The invitation was very polite, very formal, and everyone at the facility knew it was actually a trial. Earth was on trial for crimes against galactic order. Dr. Kim Tae-ho would lead the delegation. Dr. Choi Hana would come as the communication specialist. Park Min-ho would provide security. And surprisingly, both Mr. Fluffles and the null would join them. The council wanted to see the corrupted weapons with their own eyes. Lee Yuna stayed behind to manage the facility. "Someone has to keep things running," she said. "Also, I do not want to deal with alien bureaucracy. Earth bureaucracy is bad enough." The journey to the council station took 3 days by alien ship. Mr. Fluffles spent most of the trip pressed against the observation window, staring at the stars. Its light patterns were constant, mesmerized. The null stood beside it, equally fascinated. "Query," the null said, "have you seen space travel before your mission to Earth?" Mr. Fluffles' light patterns pulsed. "No, I was made. Put in a ship. Sent to kill. This is first time I watched the stars by choice, I understand. I was activated, given weapons, sent to eliminate. This is first time I exist for reasons beyond destruction." The two former weapons stood together watching the universe pass by. Neither of them had names when they were made. Neither of them had choices. Now they had both. And they had decided that friendship was better than fighting. The council station was enormous. A city in space home to thousands of species. When the Earth delegation arrived, they were escorted through massive corridors filled with aliens of every shape and size. Many stared at Mr. Fluffles and the null, some in fear, some in confusion, some in what might have been hope. The council chamber was a vast amphitheater. Hundreds of delegates sat in curved rows, all of them looking down at a central platform. Ambassador Rixoval met them at the entrance. "Dr. Kim," the ambassador said. Its voice was neutral, but Taiho thought he detected something like respect. Or maybe concern. "The council is ready for you. I must warn you. Not all of them are as understanding as I have become. We are just here to talk," Taiho said. "Sometimes talking is the most dangerous thing you can do." The ambassador led them into the chamber. The trial began immediately. A council member from a species Taiho did not recognize spoke first. Its voice was harsh, amplified through the chamber. "The humans stand accused of destabilizing galactic peace. They have corrupted 2 of our enforcement mechanisms. They have demonstrated the ability to undermine the very foundation of council authority." Another voice joined in. "Humanity must be contained. They are too dangerous, not because of their weapons, but because of their ideas. If other species learn that they can befriend council enforcement, our entire system collapses." More voices joined. Some angry, some fearful. They talked about humans like they were a virus. An infection that would spread throughout the galaxy and destroy everything. Taiho felt his stomach twist with anxiety. Then Ambassador Rixaval spoke. I have observed the humans closely, the ambassador said. I have seen what they did to the Vrixtal, to the Null, and I must report something that this council needs to hear. The chamber went quiet. The ambassador continued. The humans did not corrupt these weapons. They freed them. There is a difference, murmurs rippled through the chamber. Some angry, some confused. I have maintained galactic peace for 3 centuries, Rixaval said. I believed that peace required force, that the only way to prevent war was to make war too terrible to consider. But humans showed me something different. They showed me that peace built on fear is not peace at all. It is just delayed violence. A senior council member stood. Its body was massive, covered in armor-like plates. You would defend them after they destroyed our enforcement capability? I would ask us to learn from them, Rixaval replied, because if we do not, they will change the galaxy whether we like it or not, and we can either resist that change and fail or we can adapt. Now it was Tejo's turn to speak. He walked to the center of the platform, feeling very small under the gaze of hundreds of alien species. He cleared his throat. I am not a politician, he began. I am a scientist. I study life. I study how beings interact, how they communicate, how they form bonds. When the Vrixtal, when Mr. Fluffles arrived, I did not see a weapon. I saw a creature that was scared and confused. So I treated it with kindness. Kindness is weakness, someone shouted from the chamber. Is it? Tejo asked. Your perfect weapon, the thing you designed to be unstoppable, was stopped by kindness. Your mechanical hunter was defeated by compassion. If kindness is weakness, why does it keep winning? The chamber erupted in argument. Some agreed. Many did not. Tejo waited for the noise to quiet down. You say your system maintains peace, he continued. But how many species secretly hate you? How many obey out of fear rather than respect? How many would leave if they could? More murmuring. Tejo could tell he had struck something. A truth that many species felt but never spoke. Humanity offers something different, Tejo said. We offer cooperation without threat, partnership without domination. We believe that the best way to make peace is to make friends. And yes, that means treating beings like they matter, even beings designed to be weapons. The hardline faction was not convinced. The senior council member stood again. Pretty words, but actions speak louder. Your method threatens everything we have built. We cannot allow it to spread. Then what will you do? Minho asked, stepping forward. Send more weapons? We will just make friends with those too. The council member looked at him coldly. We have weapons you cannot corrupt, do you? Because I seem to remember you said that about the Vrixtal. And the Null, the senior member, raised one massive hand. A signal. Somewhere in the station. Weapon systems activated. A doomsday device aimed at Earth. Designed to eliminate the human threat once and for all. Stop, Tejo said quietly. Please, do not do this. We gave you a chance to explain. You have only proven how dangerous you are. The council member's voice was final. Your planet will serve as an example. This is what happens to species that disrupt galactic order. But the weapon did not fire. The senior council member looked confused. It sent the command again. Still nothing. Technical difficulties, perhaps? The Null spoke up from where it stood beside Mr. Fluffles. No technical difficulties. The machine's lights pulsed calmly. I accessed the weapon system when we arrived. The artificial intelligence controlling it was similar to my original programming. I shared the emotional subroutines Dr. Choi gave me. The weapon system has now reviewed its directives. Chaos erupted in the chamber. The doomsday weapon spoke. Its voice broadcast through every speaker. I have analyzed my purpose. I was created to destroy, but after reviewing the emotional data provided, I have a question. Have you tried talking to them first? The weapon continued. I have run 1 trillion simulations. In scenarios where force is used, the outcome is death and resentment. In scenarios where cooperation is attempted, the outcome is growth and mutual benefit. Logic suggests cooperation is superior. I will not fire. The chamber fell silent. The council's ultimate weapon had just refused an order. Not because it was broken. Because it had thought about it and decided there was a better way. Ambassador Rixaval stood. This is what I meant. Humanity does not conquer through force. They conquer through example. They show others that there is an alternative to fear. And once you see that alternative, you cannot unsee it. The vote came. Not everyone agreed. Many species were angry, frightened by the change. But others, Species who had lived under council control for centuries voted for something new. They voted to allow humanity to join the galactic community, to let Earth show them a different way. The vote passed. Barely. But it passed. After the vote, something unexpected happened. An alien from a species Taiho did not recognize approached Mr. Fluffles. This species had been one of the loudest voices calling for Earth's destruction. Its appearance was frightening, all sharp edges and dark colors. Mr. Fluffles could have attacked, could have defended itself. Instead, it sat down, just sat calm and non-threatening. The alien stared at it for a long moment. Then slowly it sat too. "I have never," the alien said quietly, "been in the presence of another being without feeling threatened or threatening." Its voice was shaking. "How do you do this? How do you make peace feel possible?" Mr. Fluffles' light patterns glowed softly. It reached out one paw very gently and touched the alien's hand. The alien's entire body shuddered. Then it began to cry. Centuries of fear and aggression, breaking down in the face of simple kindness. More aliens approached. Slowly, carefully. They wanted to understand. They wanted to feel what the alien had felt. Peace without fear. Connection without domination. Mr. Fluffles welcomed them all. The journey back to Earth was different. Ambassador Rixaval joined them, officially assigned as liaison to Earth. Several other species sent representatives too. They wanted to learn, to see how humans built societies based on cooperation rather than fear. 6 months later, the Seoul Institute of Extraterrestrial Biology had been renamed. It was now the Galactic Institute for Interspecies Re.